Hi there, it's Sheila Mack from The Sheila Mack Show. I have some exciting news for you. Are you looking to enhance your team's performance and achieve life-changing results? Then tune into my show this week for a special interview with Bill Storm, the National Peak Performance Trainer for Tony Robbins. But wait, there's more. I am thrilled to announce a free specialized live Zoom training with Bill and I for you and your team. Register now on KCAA's banner or visit SheilaMack.com, then the Tony link. During the live Zoom training, you will have a chance to ask questions and you'll learn how to execute Tony Robbins' proven strategies for success. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to take your life and career to the next level. I guarantee this event will be the best training you'll participate in all year. So what are you waiting for? Register now and get ready to achieve next level results with your team.
Ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio, Mondays at 1 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mack Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mack, and today we have special guest Jason Forrest. Jason is the CEO of FPG, Forrest Performance Group, which is a leading authority in culture change programs and an expert on creating high performance, high profit, and best place to work cultures. The winner of 5 international Stevie Awards for his training programs, Jason is also an award-winning author of 6 books, including Leadership Sales Coaching, rated as one of the Selling Power Magazine's top sales books in 2018. FPG earned a rare honor of being named to the Inc. 5000. All right, welcome to the show, Jason.
Thanks, Sheila. I'm glad to be here.
And one of the things I like to start off each show, this show actually started with my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And this last 12 months, we have had every situation thrown at us globally. So I love to ask you if you could share a time in your business or personal life where you went through a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Well, I can think of probably thousands of examples. I mean, I personally believe that the quality of our life is equal to our ability to handle the problems that we're given. I think that's an important thing. Like for example, one of the things I always tell salespeople all the time, and my people in my own company, is that every time I coach you, I'm always going to ask you one simple question. That is, what is your goal, and what is your problem? So, what problem are you having, right? And if they ever respond to me, I don't have any problems right now, my immediate response back is, well, you don't have a big enough goal. Because if you're constantly pushing yourself to go to the next level, there's obviously going to be some sort of problem that's going to be arising, and coming up. So, I think, to me, one problem that comes up is the first time we ever became an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company. We were very excited. We've won it now 5 or 6 years in a row. But the first year we won it, my head of operations came to me and said, "Jason, in about 2 weeks we're going to be bankrupt."
Mm-hmm.
So we were one of the fastest growing companies in the nation, but when it came to managing our cash, we weren't doing a good job of managing our cash. We were all focused on kind of frontline revenue and not focused on, accounts receivables or profitability, certain other factors that matter. And so, that was obviously a tough moment for me because, we had just won all these awards for being the best. And, but we were about to go bankrupt. So how can you be a company that is considered to be the best, but then also fail at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
It was tough. It was a tough thing.
Yes. And what were the steps that you took to get back on track?
Well, fortunately, I had a really, really good father. I had really good parents growing up. So I had great programming. And, one of the things that my dad told me when I was a kid, so here's another cool story, is that when I was in high school, I was an all-state football player in Texas, but I was also kind of a dumb jock. I kind of labeled myself with the identity of a dumb jock. And so I wanted to go to a school called TCU in Dallas-Fort Worth, a college, and but I didn't get in because of my grades.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually got in my truck and drove to the campus, knocked on the dean of admissions door, and said, "Hey, here's my rejection letter. I've been rejected here because of my grades, but I've been told that school is like 90% effort and 10% intelligence. Is that true?" And he said, "Yeah, it's probably right." I said, "Well, let me tell you how I became, through that effort, became an all-state football player, broke all these records, blah, blah, blah. And if you give me a chance, I'll do the same thing on the academic side." And he told me, he said, I've never had a kid plead their case. It's always been the parents that plead the case for the child. So he goes, "I'll take a chance on you." And it was a good chance he took, because I graduated 3.5 years with honors. But it wasn't because I knew, I still struggled in the sense that I had the effort, but I didn't have the strategy. Right. And I think a lot of people in life can do that. They have that kind of a goal, and they put forth the effort, the good old college try, mm-hmm. but they don't have the right strategy in order to get there. But my father always said, I went to him and I said, "Dad, how do I become this academic?" And he said, "It's really easy. Just find like the smart kids and hang out with them. And whatever the smart kids do, just do that." Mm-hmm. And so I call it legal cheating nowadays, because think about it, it's like cheating, right? But it's not cheating, because I'm not cheating off their paper. I'm cheating off of their strategy on how they became a great student. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm copying them. Well, the kids today, they would actually call that, like our kids, we've got a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 13-year-old. Our kids would say that's called a work through in like a video game. Right. So they go and Google like the work throughs on Fortnite or whatever it is, whatever the video game is. And they're finding these strategies on YouTube about how other players are kind of conquering these levels. Right. So the kids do it all day long. Well, back then I wasn't cheating, but I was kind of figuring out the work through from other people that were studying successfully. And that's how I did it. Well, I did the same thing. Fast forward, when our company almost went bankrupt, is I found what I consider to be the smartest guy that I knew, that was a successful business owner that had a very strong cash flow. Mm-hmm. He had great cash flow, he had great profitability. And so I went to him. His name was Bob. And I said, "Bob, I'm going to take you to a steak dinner. Where do you want to go? Anywhere you want to go." And so we went to this really great steak dinner, $150 a person. And I said, I just need you to teach me everything over this steak dinner about how I can make sure I don't go bankrupt in 2 weeks. And so he taught me everything I needed to know, from a standpoint of we got to get up first. We got to get you a bank loan, a 24-hour bank signature line. So I got a signature line of credit. And then from there, we've got to start managing our books, and we got to get a 13-week cash flow. So I started having a 13-week cash flow. And so ever since then, that was 6-7 years ago. Ever since then, I have a 13-week cash flow that's put on my desk every single Monday that shows, here's our cash projections for the next 13 weeks, which is really an eternity. Mm-hmm. So we always have a positive cash flow. We always know what's going on. And if we see the cash is starting to dwindle 13 weeks in the future, then we can make adjustments to make sure that we're always positive.
Forecasting. That's great. And I love it. Listeners, this is so important. Knock on the door. Go to the university and ask. Hey, knock on the door. If you didn't get the job, apply again or apply to a similar job. I mean, it's just so interesting how that works in life. And I know for myself, this young kid, I was in foster care 10 to 13 and homeless. And then in foster care 13 to 15, graduated early, got a certificate in programming because it paid the most. And by the time I was 17 and a half, I got a job programming at JPL, NASA. And everybody in the class was smarter than me. I was not a good mathematician. I was not the best programmer. I was the only one that wasn't afraid to knock on the door and apply for the job. So they were like, "How'd you do that?" I was like, "I don't know. I worked longer hours because it took me longer to write the programs, but I learned." And I didn't do that forever. I got into other things, but that was the thing, is just knocking on the door is all the difference. And in sales, that's like everything. And I'd love to hear, you have so many tips and information on sales and sales coaching. I'd love to hear more about that and some tips for people listening in that are trying to either sell themselves to get a job or working in the sales field.
Oh man, I got so many tips. Okay, so again, I'm the creator of the Warrior Selling Method. It's currently listed as #1 in the United States, #2 in the world by global gurus, and it's won all kinds of awards. But there's 3 things that I'm always trying to dial in when it comes to being the ultimate sales warrior. #1 is mindset, #2 is process, and #3 is language. So we can kind of cover all 3 very quickly. So when it comes to the mindset portion of it, we always need to dial in and remove our leashes. So I call a leash is any sort of mental resistance, like think of like a dog collar, a leash, something that pulls you back, holds you back, limiting belief. Well, in my book, The Mindset of a Sales Warrior, I talk about there's 4 types of leashes that salespeople struggle with. #1 is self-image. So they have a strong view of themselves, self-confidence, they don't believe in themselves, sense of worthiness. They don't believe they're worth, make $100,000 a year. So they're going to project that. #2 is a story. So stories are anything external. So, people aren't going to buy during coronavirus. People aren't going to buy during an election. I can already tell you they're not qualified. Like, those are all stories we make up. #3 is a reluctance, and it's a fear. Fear. I don't want to come across too pushy. I'm afraid of what they're saying about me behind my back. I'm afraid if I call them, on the phone in the morning, they're with their family. If I call them during the day, they're at work. If I call them at night, they're, kind of winding down their life. So I'm not going to call them. So these are like fears we make up. And then last is a rule. And a rule is anything I need to see, feel, or hear to give myself permission to engage. And so a rule might be, well, you know what? I'm going to, every time I send a proposal out, I'm going to send a proposal. And if I don't hear from them within 2 days, I'm going to follow up. Like, that's a rule. Okay. Yeah. Well, why is that? Why do you have that rule? Like, what does that do for you? Why not follow up in an hour? Why not follow up in a minute? Why not follow? Like, right before this call, I just closed a deal. I sent a proposal out, and I texted them and said, the proposal is in your email box. Immediately call me if you have any future questions. Otherwise, I'll check in with you. I'll call you in the end of the day and personally walk through any questions you might have. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, go ahead and sign it. We'll get started immediately with the operations team. And we'll, because we're a recruiting company, we're a sales training company, a sales management company. And so he immediately said, sounds great. And then he signed the DocuSign, texted me back, and we're good to go, But I don't have a rule that says I need to wait 48 hours to follow up.
Right. Yeah.
So these are rules, right? So first it's mindset. So we got to get mindset right. So you agree with that? And what do you see out there, Sheila? I mean, do you see the stories? Do you see the rules? Do you see the reluctances, the fears? I mean, what are you seeing out there, Sheila?
I do. And, I have a big real estate team, my other business and life that I do a lot of online training in that industry. And so there's a lot of sales, and there's agents that believe, just like you said, that, it's not possible, nothing's happening. I have other agents that have never made so much money, and they're doing great because interest rates are so low. And so it's all mindset. And it's just been really interesting. The loan mortgage people that I work with are also doing more business than ever with the loans, the interest rates going down. And so then there's the ones with the mindset that it's the virus and it's this and that, and it's a bad year. And it is a bad year because they're saying it's a bad year.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting one for the real estate world. So let's say you've got a listing agent, right? And you've got the listing agents listing a person's house. And the first question is, okay, well, if I was to talk to a listing agent, I would say, what I want you to do is every time every time you've got a buyer's agent that's going to come and demonstrate and show your house, right, that you're listing, what I want you to do is just tell the buyer's agent that as soon as you get there, I'll schedule a call with you. So either A, I'll be there physically with you and help show the house, right, demonstrate the house, or B, if I can't be there physically, then I'll FaceTime with you as soon as you bring the buyer's agent, bring the buyer to my listing, and I will personally FaceTime and walk you through the listing and give you at least a few minute, 5 minute, maybe tops overview of the house, so I can kind of tell you the story behind the house so your buyers can have the absolute best experience, right? Okay. So I've taught that to so many different realtors in the past. And every time I teach it, a realtor goes, but that's not how we do it in this business. I understand, but in the new home sales business, which we actually have, majority of sales, we have majority of the training. We have the biggest market share of sales training in the new home sales side. Well, the new home sales side, you know, you've got a new home sales agent that's sitting there and actually walking a customer through their house, and they've been taught on how to sell the house. But in the general real estate world, you've got a buyer's agent that's going to go see this house the first time completely blind, has no idea even where the closet is, right? And they're just as naive as the actual customer looking through the house. It's like the blind leading the blind, right? You know. Yeah. So like, why wouldn't you do that? You know. And so when I convince I convince listing agents to take that approach, I mean, their sales immediately skyrocket. Yeah. Because they let go of that rule. Like, it makes complete sense. Like, why would you? You know, there's not another, like, if you go to Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom's, you're going to have a sales rep that's going to walk you through the product. That knows the product. If you buy Tupperware, you're going to have a Tupperware salesperson. If you have a car salesperson, they all have a salesperson that walks you through it. But for some reason, in the real estate world, that's not how we do it here.
Wow, that is so true.
Right? I mean,
that's incredible. I mean, I think about, if I'm selling my house, I'm going to want it represented. And, you know, usually when you're an agent, you don't sell your own house. You have another agent rep you because of arm's length and this and that. But if you're going to have somebody, you want somebody that's going to be invested in selling every piece of that house and why it's valuable and this and that. And if somebody just stands there at the door and says, okay, go look at the house, good luck, next, okay, and doesn't do that, that's night and day. That's
crazy.
Incredible. Oh, that's golden.
Yeah. Golden. So that's a mindset thing, right? So that's a mindset thing. So the second thing is process. You know, and a salesperson has to have a process. And it's so interesting. The majority of salespeople, if I ask them, you know, hey, so tell me your process. Like, what's your sales process from beginning to end? Majority of the time, salespeople will tell me, well, it depends, Jason, on the situation. And I want everyone to hear this, is that flexible processes lead to inconsistent results.
Yes.
Consistent processes lead to predictable results.
Good one.
You know what I mean? You can't have a flexible process like that. No one else does that. Like, you know, going back to the home sales concept, you know, you wouldn't have a inspector that follows a flexible process, or the person the original superintendent who built the house doesn't follow a flexible process to build the house. So why would a salesperson follow a flexible process to sell the house?
Yes, exactly. That's so true. And I'm wondering now, I've had salespeople that are incredible that I've worked with, and some not in the industry as much that I work with, but that I've run into as a buyer. Where I've had salespeople that are so pushy that I might want the product, but I'll go buy it from someone else because the salesperson was so hungry for the sale that there was no consideration for me or what I was looking for, or to answer a few more questions or whatever. And I find that it's almost like this desperation. I know you know what I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm going to try
Yeah. So what I would say, Sheila, is that my advice there is, you know, they need to lower the importance of getting the sale, and they need to raise the importance of being impeccable.
Yes.
So lower the importance of getting the sale and raise the importance of being impeccable. So what does that mean? It means don't be the needy guy in the bar. Right? Don't be the needy guy in the bar that's like, you know, just going up to every girl, just needing the date, right? Needing the get, you know. Instead, you want to be the opposite, which is the hot chick in the bar. So don't be the needy guy in the bar. Instead, be the hot chick in the bar. Well, what's the hot chick in the bar? The hot chick in the bar is like, I can get any of you. I just whenever I feel up to it, I'll give you my attention. You know what I mean? Like it's this whole idea of like, yeah, I want your time. I want, you know, I want your business, but I don't need your business, right? We've all heard that before. And so, but again, we need to change, change the focus. And so the focus for a salesperson going forward is, like, if I'm working with you, Sheila, I'm lowering the importance that I need you to buy something from me today, but instead I'm raising the importance that I need you to feel safe, right, and that I need you to feel wanted, and I need to help you achieve resolution, and I need you to have clarity of what you're moving away from and what you're moving towards. Mm-hmm. I need you to have all those things, right? And if I can accomplish that for you, make you feel safe, make you feel wanted, help you achieve resolution, help you get unstuck, mm-hmm, help you clarify what you're moving away from, what your problem is, and what you're moving towards, your solution. And then I can kind of help you and then be your kind of guidance counselor along the way. I can come across very assertive towards that resolution without coming across pushy, or what you would consider to be more like needy, or desperate.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and so that goes for relationships and sales. Obviously, it's almost the same field.
It is the same. Well, that's the way my dad taught me how to sell. My dad owns the oldest jewelry store in Dallas. And when I was 8 years old, I sold my first diamond. And he would always, he was really big on this. Every analogy, he's 82 years old today, but every metaphor he ever gave me is all about dating. So.
Yeah, he was right on. On. I know, because it's like red flags go up now with the consumer when you can't answer questions and you want to push to a close or a sale without really having the integrity. Okay, if I can't give you the answer, I'm going to get you the answer, or whatever that step may be. And I think that's part of maybe an untrained salesperson, because if you are really trained in your industry, you're going to have the answers to the common questions, and you're going to be able to give the proper the proper answers, and not just, okay, just give me your money. and I think that maybe people are getting thrown into it without that really good training. I'd love to hear about your training programs so that people can have success in sales. It is a tough game out there to be in the sales industry. There's a lot of people that have great success, and there's even more that don't. And I think it's that training piece that makes all the difference.
It really does. It really does make all the difference, because, selling to me is the toughest of the performance arts. Mm-hmm. It's the toughest. Why is it the toughest? Because if you look at any other performance art, football player, musician, comedian, whatever it is that they all make money. So they all get paid to go do their art. Well, in sales, you show up every day saying, I'm working today for free.
Yeah. And
if I don't perform, then I don't get paid. And the better I perform, the better I get paid. But like a Broadway actress mm-hmm. is going to make the same amount of money regardless of how she performs. Now, eventually, she might get paid more, as the show gets better and so forth. But so it's the toughest anyway. So as far as what we teach, I created this concept called the Warrior Selling Method, and basically there's 5 steps to understand the customer's mission to improve their life, 4 steps to present a solution, and then 3 steps to resolve the sale. Okay, so it's all based upon a lot of things, but one of my backgrounds is in neuro-linguistic programming, and myself and my wife are both master practitioners. So it doesn't really mean, there's a lot of people that throw NLP around. So we have over 1,000 hours of certification around neuro-linguistic programming, but it's NLP basically is that. So neuro stands for brain, linguistic stands for our speech pattern. And what's been proven by science and psychology is the way that we speak is a window into how we think, and how we think drives how we feel drives our motivations drive our behaviors drive our results. Well, at the same time, we can ask the right questions to understand, again, how people think, which drives all those other things. And we can use our words, our language, to program how people think, which programs how they feel. Are they confident or afraid? Which programs their motivation? Do they move towards or move away? Which programs their behaviors? Do they engage or react? Which programs their results? Do they buy from you or not buy from you? Right? So So there's a lot of like science and psychology that's built into it. And NLP is nothing more than just studying what the most persuasive people are doing and how do they do it and what are the pieces of that. And so our 5-4-3 process, again, it teaches those concepts.
Yes. I actually did a retreat where we did NLP training with a bunch of friends of mine in the Tony Robbins group, and we went to do this NLP training and had a blast. And one of the things that I learned is, as a parent of, I have 6 children. I adopted 3 are mine.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and they're, now they're mostly grown, but I thought, oh my gosh, parents listening in, NLP training. I mean, imagine being able to guide your words so that your children agree with you more, or you get things done easier. I mean, it's like sales and relationships. It's making it easier. I thought, oh, I'm going to apply this to parenting. And it really made a difference even in that. And it's just an incredible study. That's great. Yes.
It is great. Yeah. Yeah. So, there's all kinds of things you can teach, right? But when it comes to our process, let's go back to, let me help out your majority of your audience. So the majority of your audience or the people that are listening, what will be something that they sell? Is it real estate, or is it something else?
I would say probably a good majority, maybe 20 or 30% is real estate. And I probably have another 20 or 30% that are coaches, consultants, authors, and the rest is everybody else.
Okay. So, well, let me address the at least the real estate side. So, and then we can do the coaches, consultants. Mm-hmm. So for example, like if I was to do just the first 5 steps of the process, it would be something like this. I'm just going to I'm going to monologue the process, right? So, okay. So let's say I'm a realtor. All right, Mr. Customer. So I'm very excited about working with you, and I look forward to finding you, the best home that I could possibly find for you within the market that you're looking within. Of course, your the affordability, the affordable range you want to stay within. There's a few things that people are really looking for when it comes to, buying a home. It's either they want something larger than they have now, or they're looking to live in a better part of town or a different part of town, or they're looking for, maybe more backyard space than they have right now. I'm curious, what would you say is like the most important thing for you? Oh, got it. So you like the size you have now, but you definitely would like to have a different location. What specifically about the location are you looking for? You're looking for to be closer to a better school district? Completely understand. So tell me about the school district you're coming from and what specifically you don't like about it. Oh, it doesn't have the ratings that you're looking for. Well, how is that causing problems with your kids that you have? Oh, they're hanging around with the wrong kids. Got it. So you're looking for a school district to allow them to give better opportunities to spend more time with, kids that you want them to hang around with. But for the most part, you like the house that you have. You're really just looking for a different location. So in addition to that, if you were to change anything about your current house, what would you want to change? So meaning like how many bedrooms, how many baths is it currently? Great. Okay, so it sounds like you're looking for some extra space than you don't have right now. So you're currently in a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and you would like to have a 2-story with an extra game room. So suppose I could find a 2-story master down 4-bedroom home with a game room that allows you the school district you're looking for. Does that sound like a good place for us to start? It does? Great. So based upon that, if I was to find a house for you like that, are you in a position that you definitely want to make a move today and start your life and get into that new neighborhood, the new life, and so forth? You are? Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to do a little bit of research here, and I'm going to go find what I consider to be our, no more than 3 homes that I want to show you that are as close to kind of your vision of what you're looking for. We'll go through all 3 of those homes, and by the time we're done with the 3rd home, either one of those homes is going to work, or I'll understand what you like and you don't like about each one of those homes, and then I'll take you to a 4th home, and that 4th home is usually the winner for everyone if it's not on the first 3. We'll compare and contrast that to what you're coming from and what you're looking at and what you're wanting to accomplish, and again we'll find that home for you. You're ready to begin.
Nice.
Something like that, right? So that's the 5 steps.
Yep.
So the first step was a triple bind. There's a few reasons why people are looking for a home. It's either this, or this. Of those, what's most important to you? Second step is the comparison 360. So it's discovery 360. So it's asking questions about what they want, asking questions about what they have, and asking questions about what they've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Third step is the summary vision close. You're summarizing back to them what they want to move away from and what they want to move towards and why it's important to them about that. The fourth step is you want to categorize them. So based upon that, are you definitely going to do something, make a change? And then the fifth step is you set the agenda as far as how it's going to happen.
That's excellent.
So the same thing applied to Sheila if they're a coaching client, right? So great. I'm excited that you're interested in my coaching services right now. There's a few things that people are looking for when it comes to wanting to hire me as a coach. Number one is they're wanting to release a problem they currently have. Mm-hmm. We can talk about some sort of problem that's preventing you from achieving a goal. Number two is that they're wanting to create a goal that they would like to accomplish more in their life. Or number three, it's a hybrid of both of those, working towards a goal as well as releasing the problems they currently have. I'm curious, what would you say you'd like to spend more time on today, or what's the main reason why you're looking for a coach?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same thing, right? And then from there, I would do that discovery 360, and let's say they say, well, I have a lot of goals in my life, but I feel like I keep getting stuck. Okay, well, let's specifically talk about, a goal that you have and where have you been stuck in the past, and what processes have you used to get unstuck with those goals? And what about those processes haven't worked for you? So it sounds like you have used some coaches in the past, you haven't achieved what you're looking to achieve. And on a scale of 1 to 10, this sounds like it's a very important, thing that you're trying to accomplish. Does that sound about where you are? Great. So based upon that, are you in a position to definitely make this, to make a change? Are you definitely in a position to do something about it? You are? Okay, perfect. So then what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you how I work. I'm going to share with you the process that I would take you through in order to help you accomplish the goals that you're wanting to accomplish. And then I'll lay out some options of what I believe would make the most sense for us to work together. I'll present a different couple of packages to you. You'll pick the one that you like the most. And if we feel like we're a good fit for each other, we can get started immediately to help you accomplish your goals. All right, let's begin.
Excellent. Very good. Yes. So everybody listening in, I'm sure you're taking notes. That was wonderful. And now how do people get involved with your programs? What type of programs do you offer as far as your coaching program?
Yeah. So my company, again, we have a lot of trainers, but every single month we've got boot camps that are kicking off virtually online. Right. Mm-hmm. So every single month, a person can go to a business to consumer boot camp for warrior selling. We do have one specifically for real estate. So for home building and real estate. So business to home building. And then we've got one for business to business. So those are our 3 different tracks for warrior selling. And then we also have the leadership track for leadership sales coaching, where we can teach managers how to be kind of a world-class coach, specifically around sales coaching is where we focus on a lot. And then, of course, we have a recruiting service. Our recruiting service is amazing. We've disrupted the entire recruiting business. So we will go out there and find you a fearless sales warrior that has the mindset, the process, and the language dialed in. Then we make sure that we use assessments to make sure they're better than half your existing team. Once you approve the candidate, we put them through our 90-day warrior selling training program and then guarantee their performance.
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah. So no other recruiting company does what we do. No other recruiting company combines a sales-only recruiting company combined with an assessment company, combined with a training company, all in one. So it's a complete soup to nuts, turnkey, sales warrior for hire. And again, if they don't perform, we replace them for free. And we've only had to replace about 20% of the ones last year. Mm-hmm.
And what do you see as the difference as far as sales from the people that have done the training, gone through your training? What are the results? Like, what is the difference, and how long does that take to actually show up when somebody maybe signs up for your training, sales training?
Well, they better get results like right after the 2-day boot camp. or
Oh,
I'm going to get upset with them. So the difference with us is that, I really prided myself on being the first training company that can actually change behavior. So most sales training companies, they can't really change behavior because it's not practical enough. So what we're doing is, in our actual boot camps and in our follow-up programs that we have with customers, is they're bringing their real life prospects to the table. And then my trainers are telling them what to say to get the person back on the phone, to move the deal forward, to get the deal to convert, whatever it is, right? And so we're not talking like in theory, like most consultants do. We're talking about like specific real life challenges and what those challenges are. And so we're selling through them immediately at those boot camps and in those weekly follow-up calls. So everything we do is a program, right? So we have a 2-day boot camp that kicks it off. And then it's a 6-week follow-up program where they watch a bunch of videos and they get on a Zoom call with a bunch of other people, about 30 people tops, for 2 hours a week for 6 weeks, where they're, again, mastering that script, mastering that process, putting it in their own native language. So think of it as like our 5-4-3 methodology with like their language, their industry, their specifics, right? And so we're kind of blending the two together. They're memorizing that, they're performing that, they're using that with their prospects over the next 6 weeks. And then it's another 2-day boot camp on prospecting, and then another 6 weeks of accountability around prospecting.
wow. That's incredible. That sounds like a lot of training, and it does make a big difference. I know for training when you're working with a group. I know years ago, my first business actually in sales was not in real estate. It was actually gift stores. So after my working in programming as this young girl, I decided to open a gift store. 5,000 square feet, $5,000 a month, $1 a square foot, got 6 months free rent, and I hired a bunch of people that already knew sales, that were moms that needed flex time. And that's what carried my store. That's how I got into real estate. I ended up with 5 stores and had over 200 employees, and a whole training program that I did with the government to train at-risk youth how to work in these gift stores, and then they would get a letter of reference after 6 months to go work at another place because nobody wanted to hire them. And so that helped a lot of people, and it was a wonderful thing. And so sales was something that was always a part of my life, and we just had a lot of fun with it. And it changed because we did so much training. This was, okay, I'm going to like date myself. This was back in the day when they had camcorders, and that, it was like this 20-pound camera, and you had to put this big tape into a VCR and that 1993-ish, something like that. And so back then I literally filmed all my training because I had to show the government how I was training these kids, and every single employee went through my training, and it was like, I want you, when you work here, you are me. And you are going to serve each client that comes in here the way I would treat them. You're going to like really emulate me. And that's how I did that. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I had to pay that rent every month and figure out how to make money. And it was a really beautiful thing. Something that happens when you really need to make a difference, and my heart was in it to help those kids at the same time. So I enjoyed it, and it blessed me with the reason I got into the real estate sales was I ended up buying the other buildings, no more leasing. And I ended up getting into real estate so that I could buy and sell and do exchanges. And that's how that happened. But, that training was such a difference. Before I did the training, my sales were, I was barely making that rent. And then once I started the training program and video recorded everything, this was before we did that, it was night and day. And my sales went up, and I was able to, buy the first building and then buy another and another. And so that's really it. So this investment, working with someone like Jason in this program and getting your team sales trained is going to make you and save you so much time and money. I mean, just rehiring and retraining people over and over again that aren't able to do their job because they don't have the training is not cost effective at all. So what do you think the savings are. Do you have like numbers on that, or an idea to give people that are looking into maybe doing hiring out for sales coaching? What's the difference between um, a team that's trained and not trained?
Well, I mean, the best stat I can tell you is that that 90% of our clients that were in our full 12-month training program prior to COVID, so prior to March of 2020, so almost a year ago now, in March and April met or exceeded their sales goals. Now, this is across like 15 or 16 different industries. So think about how many companies, everyone can go back to a year ago, March and April, and how many companies were shutting down and going under.
Mm-hmm.
And 90% of our clients that were in our full program prior to March and April met or exceeded their sales goals in March and April.
Wow.
So to me, I mean, that's a big testimony in itself, just to, you think about how tough things were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, look, I would say there's, from an individual perspective, I mean, I've seen people's, people go from making $50,000 a year to making $250,000 a year, during our program. And obviously the biggest numbers we see is big, huge organizations, will scale quite a bit.
That's wonderful. And we're coming to the end of our talking time, so I'd love to hear how people could learn more, sign up for your programs, and learn more about what you're doing.
Perfect. So I would say, so definitely come to fpg.com. So F is in forest, P is in performance, G is in group.com. So fpg.com. And there's all kinds of cool free resources you can download, different things you can get a hold of. And if you want to check it out, so we have a book, one of our most recent books is called The Mindset of a Sales Warrior. And if those who are listening right now, if you go to warriormindsetbook.com, so warriormindsetbook.com, you can actually get the book for free. You just have to pay shipping and handling. Or you can go to Amazon or Audible and pay full price for the book if you don't want to do that route. There's also a bunch of other offers and so forth on warriormindsetbook.com after you just pay for shipping and handling. And that book was listed as the best new sales book of the year by a Stevie Award in 2019.
Outstanding. All right. Well, I'm definitely getting my book. And thank you again for being a guest on the show. For those tuning in, stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages. All right. I have found something magical, something new that I am loving. At this stage in my life, I have been switching to the cleanest, best, healthiest makeup, shampoos, facial products. So I did find a incredible makeup line, and they have been around quite some time. It is called Beauty Counter, and if you go to beautycounter.com/Sheila Mac, SHEILAMAC, or SheilaMac.com, and at the top of the menu, look for Natural Beauty. That will bring you to the site where you can learn about the specials and give clean beauty a try. I am just loving the difference it's making in my face. And one of the things that was really bothering me was a lot of the other products. I could not find eye makeup that wasn't irritating. So this is really like one of the few products I can actually wear around my eyes. And so I'm really loving everything. It makes my skin feel really clean and fresh. And so give it a try. Again, SheilaMac.com/natural beauty to learn more. My car and my cat due to a fire. It sounds like a country music song, but that was my reality. And yet another rock bottom situation. After a long period of doing really well, when we're able to retrain our minds to focus on the positives, we're able to enjoy more of life. Even while we're rebuilding and rebooting, we're going to starve those negative thoughts, not feeding them with our attention, time, or energy. When you focus on the good parts of your life, those things that you can be grateful for in this moment, that energy will bring even more good things your way. Contribute and utilize your unique talent. You're not thinking about the problem at hand. You're not showing up for approval. You're just being your best self. You use your rock bottom to set the direction for your life beyond this rock bottom situation. It's important that you are really honest about where you are in this situation. You can't lie because you don't want to give up your personal responsibility. You have to own every part of this and realize it could be worse. It could be better, but this is it. If you aren't able to be honest about where you're starting from, you won't be able to clearly see where you want to go or how to get there. The next letter of Boots will help you answer that. The second O is for order of operations. The third step of the Boots formula is finding the order of operations. When you're in a rock bottom moment, there are certain steps you know you need to take to get out of it, and you need to complete those steps in a certain order. T is for thinking. The fourth step of the Boots formula is thinking. If you recall your thinking at the most successful points in your life, it's probably vastly different from your thinking when a crisis brings you to a rock bottom situation. Often, at the toughest times, our thinking goes to survival. We lose sight of the possibilities and opportunities that are before us. This is where thinking comes into play. It's vital to have a strong mindset in order to keep our boots on and walk out of a rough spot in life. Thinking leads you to a clear vision of where you want to go on that map of your desired outcome. You've made the decision that you're going to New York. Your bags are packed. You have an idea of how you're going to get there. You know the steps you need to take, though you may not know how the hell you're going to take them all, but you've made up your mind. That's where you're going. Tony Robbins often says, it's in the moment of decision that one's destiny is shaped. That decision is the thought that comes before the action steps required to reach your new goal. Everything happens in this step, in that decision. You can see it, feel it, embody it. Things start to show up because you're looking for them and you're open to them. You'll start getting the results you want just because that decision is in your mind. It becomes that real to you. Once you have that clear vision in your mind, you have to see yourself as if you already are living in your desired reality. You're just doing the steps to get there. S is for stepping up. The fifth and final step of the Boots formula is a literal step, stepping up. You've gone through the first 4 steps. You've decided how you're going to show up. You have a picture of where you're going. You know the steps you need to take, and you've made the decision to actually do something. It would be nice if you could just sit, think, and meditate your desired outcome into being. But that's not the way it works. There is some validity to the idea of manifesting what you want, but at the same time, you have to believe enough to actually go out there and take the risk. You have to overcome your fear of giving your first presentation, making your first speech, or writing your first book. You have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to take those steps. S is for stepping up by taking the personal responsibility required for a real reboot. While the B in Boots is about being in the present with who you are in the situation, S is for taking those steps toward the future you want.
Is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
To grab a copy of my new best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action. If you're just tuning in, this is NBC Sheila Mack Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. You may also be listening from one of the other stations, also available on Sheila Mack Show on YouTube. And everyone, I just got off the phone with Kurt Jensen over at Tony Robbins to confirm. And so I was able to schedule a live peak performance strategy workshop via Zoom conference for our entire group of listeners with one of the certified trainers that you just had heard interviewed here today, Bill Storm, on February 28th this year at 4 p.m. And that is Pacific time. Now, you need to register to be able to attend this event. If you have a work team, a group of people that you're working with that you want to join, they are welcome as well. And you just need to register to attend. And the registration link will be on the show notes here, as well as at sheilamac.com/Tony. If you're driving and listening in, sheilamac.com/Tony, or register on the show notes below. For those of you who don't know who Tony Robbins is, he is the world's #1 life and business coach and has trained over 50 million people during his 40-plus years career. Yes, that number is real. And the best part is that as the national trainer for Tony Robbins, our guest, Bill Storm, advises and consults with Fortune 500 companies, executives, and managers, as well as sales professionals in the areas of peak performance, leadership, organizational behavior, and the psychology of achievement and sales. And now we get access to them and their wisdom for free, which is absolutely incredible, and also why I am sending out this message today, this shout out, because I want each and every one of you to be there as my special guest if possible. And I believe it will help all of us grow individually and as a team. Let's vote for Team Humanity and get everyone on track this year. So please register. Again, the link is in the show notes. I've also made a special link, sheilamac.com/Tony, if you're driving and listening in. And once you do, you will see a quick video filmed just for you by Tony, where he explains a bit more about this opportunity. As Tony always says, it's times like this that we really have to take control of our own minds and emotions. So let's all set some time aside on February 28th so that we can get through these crazy times stronger and get to living an even better life than before. Don't miss out on this, because during the Peak Performance Workshop, you will learn to execute Tony Robbins' proven strategies to produce life-changing results in your career, your relationships, and your life. You'll take the Wheel of Life assessment to close the gaps between where you are and where you want to be. You will learn pattern-breaking techniques to determine a clear target of what you want in every area of your life, and complete a goal-setting exercise to uncover the driving force that propels you toward your goals, plus a ton more needle-moving activities. That's right. So I can give you my full commitment that you will enjoy this live seminar. And again, if you're able to attend the live workshop, then you can bring your questions and your team or work group questions as well, sales questions, to the live seminar. And again, if you register, you are also able to view the recording if you aren't able to make it live, but I do hope to see you there live. You can click the link to join and register to save your spot. That will be available in the show notes at kcaaradio.com. It will be on the show notes on my YouTube channel, Sheila Mac Show, on YouTube. And also, if you're driving and not able to remember all that, then just remember sheilamac.com/Tony, and the link to register for you and your team is available there. Again, I can give you my full commitment, along with Tony and Bill Storm, that this event will be the best training you've participated in all year to produce next level results for you personally and professionally. We all look forward to seeing you there on February 28th of this year. And surprise, surprise, it is Tony's birthday on the 29th. So I do hope that you show up for the live Zoom And we will be able to say a special happy birthday to Tony as well. All right. See you there. Tune in again right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.